Welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast, coming to you straight from the smallest big town in Texas with your host, mentor, and owner financing master, Mitch, aka Be the Bank Stephen. The possibilities of life without a JOB start here. So grab your pen and paper and listen up.
Y'all just might figure out how to fail forward to financial freedom.
This is Mitch, and welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. Hey man, I have Larry Goins back one more time because he's going to talk to us about his Filthy Riches program. Now, he's got a way of buying houses all over the country, the houses that people don't even want. He's going to show you these tremendous returns we can make. Right now, I got to get a few words from my sponsors, but I'll be right back to talk with Larry Goins.
Hi folks, this is Mitch Stephen, and I want to talk to you about a new software that's out, and I'm sure you're going to go check it out because it helps you find vacant houses, pre-foreclosure houses, bank-owned houses, probate houses, for sale by owner houses, online auction houses, Craigslist houses, and much, much more. It has a landlord and flippers heat map so you can see where all the activity is, and it has all the contracts that you'll ever need to buy and sell houses. You can also tap into their direct mail marketing system, and their custom maps and notifications will alert you when houses of interest pop up on your radar. This is all within your county or your area. You get to choose. Now here's the big one. You're also going to get access to non-bank funding so you can fund your deals. That's the big one. So go to reinvestorsummit.com/PIN. That's reinvestorsummit.com/PIN, PIN, and tell them Mitch Stephen said hello. Hi folks, this is Mitch Stephen, and I want to talk to you about a new software that's out, and I'm sure you're going to go check it out because it helps you find vacant houses, pre-foreclosure houses, bank-owned houses, probate houses, for sale by owner houses, online auction houses, Craigslist houses, and much, much more. It has a landlord and flippers heat map so you can see where all the activity is, and it has all the contracts that you'll ever need to buy and sell houses. You can also tap into their direct mail marketing system, and their custom maps and notifications will alert you when houses of interest pop up on your radar. This is all within your county or your area. You get to choose. Now here's the big one. You're also going to get access to non-bank funding so you can fund your deals. That's the big one. So go to reinvestorsummit.com/PIN. That's reinvestorsummit.com/PIN, PIN, and tell them Mitch Stephen said hello.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to get you some more Larry Goins. Larry Goins is a friend of mine. We've met each other kind of bumping around in the different circles we run around in. And we do similar things, and we have a similar mindset on how to not just flip real estate, but how to manipulate real estate and generate a residual income. And with no further ado, how are you, Larry Goins?
What's up, buddy? How you been?
I'm doing good. I got the sniffles here, so you have to excuse me if I got to mute myself. I hear it sneeze every now and then. I don't know what's got a hold of me, but something's got a hold of me.
I hear you, man, but you can't keep a good man down. You keep pushing, don't you?
It wasn't that bad. Couldn't keep me from this, because this is going to be exciting. I think your Filthy Riches program is a tremendous way for people to start because it's kind of at the lower echelon property values, and there's big money in that arena, right?
You know, absolutely. And the cool part about it is, you know, you and I both have students all around the country. We got students around the world, but this model that I'm going to talk about, the Filthy Riches model that we're going to kind of go over today is, it just blows me away how many people have started out from scratch, never done a deal before, bought course after course after course, been to seminar after seminar after seminar, and after they learned of this model, they went out and did their first deal. And it just blows me away. And Filthy Riches is a model. I didn't invent it. I just like to think I perfected it. And I'm going to go over in detail exactly what we do. But, we're also going to have, we're going to invite people to a special webinar that you and I are going to do to give them even more detail at the end. How about that?
Yeah, so just so they have it, it's reinvestorsummit.com/riches, RICHES, and this is going to drive you over to the show notes, and the show notes will have a link to this webinar that we're talking about. But tell us, get us started on what Filthy Riches program is all about.
Well, Mitch, Filthy Riches is a proven system for buying and selling cheap houses anywhere in the United States at deep discounts with none of your own cash, credit, and zero risk. Then we turn around and sell the property for 3 to 6 times what you paid for it with seller financing. And I know you know a thing or two about seller financing.
I try.
And then, with a reasonable down payment, we're going to seller finance it with a reasonable down payment, all with no buyer's list. People talk about getting started in wholesaling. Your biggest asset is your buyer's list. With this, you don't even need a buyer's list, okay? Then, now, if you're brand new or if you need cash right now, we're going to show you how to sell the note for immediate cash, or you can collect monthly payments for the next 10 to 20 years. I got to tell you, it's one of the fastest, safest, easiest ways I've ever seen for people to put anywhere from $16,000 to $28,000 cash in their pocket in the next 30 days. And, it's even faster, easier, and safer than wholesaling. I just love this model. Mitch, one of the reasons that this thing works so well is you want to sell the property for 3 to 6 times what you paid. Now, you and I both know you can't sell a $100,000 house for $300,000 to $600,000, even with seller financing. However, you can easily sell a $5,000 to $10,000 house for $30,000 to $40,000 with seller financing and payments less than rent. If you guys are taking notes, you should write down payments less than rent. You can even sell a $20,000 to $30,000 house for $60,000 to $90,000 with seller financing and payments less than rent. And all you really need to get started with this is a phone and an internet connection. In fact, you can easily do it from anywhere, because all the ways that I'm going to show you how to get deals and how to sell the properties, you do it all on the internet. And I would venture to say, everybody listening to this podcast, you got a phone and an internet connection. Don't you think, Mitch?
I'm pretty sure of that. And so you don't do a lot of fix up of these houses any at all, right? You just get them and then you sell them as is.
That's the best part. You know me, Mitch, and I hate rehabs. I hate rehabs, okay? I love real estate, but there's 2 things about real estate I hate: tenants and rehabs, all right? I don't have to deal with either one of them. I mean, a sample deal might be, let's say I pick up a house for $5,000. Now, guys, I know some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, $5,000, there's no way. Maybe that worked back in the 90s, or maybe that worked before the real estate crash or after the real estate crash. But no, I can tell you, I pick up houses. I picked up one little mobile home not too long ago for $1,500. But we buy a lot for 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, and 30,000. But let's say you pick up a house for $5,000. Now it can't be a blower upper. Now fixer upper's okay, but it can't be a blower upper. Okay, you got to know the difference. But
all right. What's a blower upper? This is a new word for me. You're teaching me already.
If you see in the listing, the value is in the lot, it's a blower upper, right? No, but here's the deal. We want to find houses that are close to livable, okay? If the ceiling's caved in, if the floor's fallen in, if the roof's fallen in, all that stuff, if it's just, you don't want something that's going to be too overwhelming for a weekend warrior, somebody that's going to go out there and do a little work to it either before they move in or before they rent it out. But we're going to take that little $5,000 house, we're going to put it out there, and we're going to sell it. Now, I'm going to show you all the different ways to sell it on the webinar, but a few of the different ways. You could sell them on eBay. You could sell it to a neighbor. You could sell it to an investor, okay? And you can sell it on Craigslist as well. But let's say we take that $5,000 house, we turn around and sell it for $30,000. We get a couple of grand down, okay? We're going to finance $28,000 at 10 years at 9%. The payment's going to be a little over $350 a month. And think about this. I paid $5. I got $2 down, I have 3 in it now, plus closing costs. I'm leaving closing cost out just to keep it simple. But closing costs will change your yield a smidge, not a whole lot. But I got 3 in it plus closing costs, and I'm getting $354 a month for the next 10 years. That's 141% return on my money. Is that good enough?
That's good enough. That's good enough. You don't really need to be exact. Don't even need to know where the decimals are in this equation.
No, not at all. And I got no mortgage, no vacancies, no repairs, no taxes, no insurance, no tenants, and no rehab. And I love this model.
And so you're doing this all over the country, or are you doing it right in your hometown or certain states? Where are you doing this?
Well, I'll tell you, of course, now you're not going to do it in Orange County, California, all right? You're not going to do it in Manhattan. You're going to go where the properties are. I've done this, Mitch, in 12 different states, right from my office in Lake Wiley, South Carolina. And I focus on the Carolinas just because that's where I am. But I will tell you this, you said right in my own local market. I'm in the Charlotte, North Carolina MSA, even though I'm right across the state line from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in South Carolina. I haven't bought a house in Charlotte in over 3 years. All right? I haven't bought a house in Charlotte. Yeah, I go where the deals are. We got a deal recently where it was listed in the 70s. We picked it up in the low 20s, and about 35% of list price. And as long as you're not trying to buy where all the competition is, then you're going to be able to pick up these deals at 50, 40, 30, sometimes even 20% of list price. I got one not too long ago. It was listed for $44,000. I paid $9,150 for that house. I mean, do the math. That it doesn't take long to get rich quick doing that kind of deal. Hey,
I understand it. We're doing the same thing, and I've been a believer in these little throwaway houses all along, because I built my career starting out with those houses that they were smaller numbers. It was easier for me to find the private lenders. It was easier for me to raise the capital or put it on my credit card even until someone would give me my money back in a down payment. We also bought a house for $12 last month and put it up for sale for $36,000 with, we always say with a reasonable amount down, because we don't like to name the number and let the buyer.
I love that.
And let the buyer say,
that term.
Yeah, the buyer says, "What's reasonable?" And you say, "Well, reasonable to me is $15,000, but that's neither here nor there. Why don't you tell me the most you can do, and I'll take it to my partners, and we'll see if we can't get you a house." Of course, the more you offer, the easier it's going to be for me to get it. So let me know, and I'll go fight for you.
Exactly. And even in addition to that, instead of telling them, when they say what's reasonable, say, well, most people put around $15,000 down. So that lets them know, hey, I want to be like most people. I want to be able to do that. But, it really kind of depends on what they have. We try to get as much down as we can.
Of course. So how are you raising the funds to buy these houses? Where do you get your money?
Well, there's a lot of different places you could do that, okay? You can use private money. You can use hard money because the numbers are such that you can use that. But one of the best ways is just to raise private money. You can put them on a credit card. You can sell a partial. You can table fund these deals using your note buyer's money. So let's say you have no money to buy this deal, okay? You don't have $5,000. You go out and you find a note buyer that's willing to buy this note. Let's say if you even sold this note at a 20% yield, okay? A 20% yield on this note that I just described, I mean, you're going to cash out quite a bit of money. You're going to cash out about $19,000 on that deal. If you sell the note, let's say you sell it at an 18% yield, that's $19,684 on that specific note. I just ran the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your note buyer lined up. They wire the $19,000 to the closing attorney. You buy the property, you sell it with seller financing, and you assign the note right there at closing. You use the note buyer's money to pay your seller, and then you keep what's left over, which is 19 minus the 5. Actually, you only have 3 in it. So you netted $16,000, minus your closing cost, of course. But you can use your note buyer's money to pay your seller. It's called table funding. Lenders do it all the time. It's a part of the industry, and I used to be in the mortgage business. It's a part of the whole industry.
So in this case, the table funding, you don't have any of your own money in this. So to try to figure out the yield, it's infinity. You can't calculate a yield if you don't have anything in it. So
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You got to have some money in it.
Okay, so let's run through it real quick. So you get this house under contract to buy it for $5,000, and then you find someone who wants to give you $2,000 down, and so you still need $3,000 to purchase the property. But you find a note buyer, and instead of going the whole way and putting up the other $3,000 yourself, you just don't have $3,000. So because you don't have the $3,000, you can't make 141% rate of return on your money, but you can still make a substantial cash deposit into your bank account. And so you find a note buyer, and you agree to sell him this note so that he can get a 19% rate of return, which means he's going to bring about $19,000 to the table.
Right.
And so he brings the $19,000 on the table, and this all happens simultaneously or in a very short period of time from one to the other. You go in to buy the house. And your note buyer comes in with the money, the $19,000. You buy the house actually with his $19,000. So you end up with $14,000 in your pocket, but then you pick up a $2,000 in your down payment, so you're back up to $16,000, and that's how it works. And there's a little like Larry said, there's some closing costs in there. It won't be quite $16,000; it'll be a little bit less. But who's counting? This is a great deal. You did it with none of your own money, and when you learn how to do deals like that, you become pretty unstoppable, because this can go on day after day, month after month, year after year.
Absolutely.
There's no shortage of deals out there.
I mean, think about this, Mitch. Okay, think about this. You do one of those deals, you cash out $16,000. Okay, you put $6,000 in your pocket, and then you go buy 2 houses with the rest. Now you have $700 a month coming in. You sell those, and then you go buy 4. Okay, and then you got $1,500 a month coming in. Okay, and you could sell one, keep one. You could sell every other one. You could sell 5 years worth of payments, and never run out of money. Just sell enough to get your cost back. Is that great or what?
Yeah, and this is why we just walked off into the professional zone. What some of the stuff that Larry's talking about, you got to be kind of a pro at it. That's why you hire a coach like Larry or myself or somebody, so that when you get to these choices, so they can help you explain your choices. And then when you see a choice that you don't really understand, if you ever manipulate a deal using that technique, you will understand it after you live it. And sometimes it just takes someone to walk you through it. So, Larry, if people want to know more about your Filthy Riches program, where you can buy these very, very inexpensive houses all across the country, they just go to reinvestorsummit.com/riches, all lowercase on the riches, RICHES. And you got any samples or any free stuff there to give away, or am I putting pressure on you here? What?
No. It's okay. In fact, when they sign up for the webinar, we're going to give them a free analyzer to help them analyze these little deals literally in a couple of seconds flat. It's very, very simple. And we're going to give them, everybody who signs up for the webinar is going to get an analyzer absolutely free. They'll be able to analyze these deals in 2 seconds flat.
Okay, great. So you're going to get a free analyzer, and you're going to get to watch the webinar on Filthy Riches at reinvestorsummit.com/riches. So tell me, what is the best deal you've ever made using this strategy?
I bought a house. Well, it's really kind of hard to say the best deal, because the great thing about this is you do a lot of small deals and they all add up, and before you know it, you got tens of thousands of dollars a month coming in. Okay? Because your goal, now naturally you need to sell the note if you're starting out. If you're broke, if you don't have any money, you need to sell the note. However, your goal should be to keep the note. That's your goal, okay? So once you sell a few, you get enough money coming in, then it's a self-funding asset, okay? It's self-funding. In other words, what you're going to do is, let's say you got $5,000 a month coming in. Now you can buy a house every month without having to come out of pocket with anything. And then you get up to $10,000 a month, you can buy 2 houses a month. $15,000 a month, you can either buy 3 houses, or you can buy buy a $10,000 house, or you can buy one $15,000 house. And you eventually start upgrading and upgrading and upgrading, and you got more and more money coming in every month, and it's self-funding, and you get to the point where you can't spend the money fast enough. You've got to find other deals to invest it in. And that's a beautiful thing, as you well know, isn't it?
Well, that's what I try to explain to people. It's not about selling the note for the big hit. One of the things I do is I just can't, I'm going to talk personally here for a minute. I just really can't spend more than $250,000 a year. I can eat as much as I want. I can drink as much as I want. I can go and travel as much as I want. I live in the house I want. I drive the car I want. And it's really tough to spend, really over about $220,000. And so what I do is...
Mitch, you haven't met my wife, have you?
Yeah, I get you. So, yeah, well, you got to have a little help too. So what happens here is I'll manipulate houses or whatever till I get about 200 or something thousand proposed income for the year. Sometimes that happens in the first quarter. Sometimes that happens in the first 6 months. And then I start doing these deals in my IRA and my 401k, because there's no sense in just paying tax on more and more money. Do you invest like that yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just keep it going.
Yeah, and the other thing is
so much.
The other thing is these properties, you're not a landlord. You're just collecting a payment. If something breaks or goes wrong, they're the owner of the house, not you. So you're not trying to find a plumber over in Saskatchewan, wherever the heck. You're just collecting a payment. And if they stop paying, you just resell it again like you sold it the first time. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's going to happen if you do this enough. There'll be some choices. But to me, the greatest strategy in the world, on the planet, is to buy it, don't fix it, owner finance it for double or more, and watch the person that's making payments to buy the house go over budget fixing up your collateral. That is the best strategy on the planet as far as I'm concerned. And I think you've latched on to just exactly that too, Larry, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I do like the lower price band properties. It's you get to sell them for 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes even more. I bought houses. I bought mobile homes, $1,500, $2,000, and sold them for $19,900, $29,900. And you get 10 times what you paid for it. And listen, guys, this is the kind of opportunity. People say, "Oh, you're ripping people off." Some people say that. Not many, but some people. But let me tell you something. I am helping that person become a homeowner. I'm providing them with housing that's going to be theirs, and there will be an end to the payments. What is sad is they pay the same amount in rent, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel, okay? There'll always be a tenant, regardless of the price I'm selling them the house for, and I never sell it to them above market. I sell it to them at market, okay? Sometimes even less. But there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel for them, and they'll see at some point, hey, they have no more payments, and they own it free and clear.
Yeah, it is a great service that we do when we pick up these houses, because they're usually in decay, or they're going to be decaying quickly. Nothing good happens to a vacant house. The neighborhood suffers. The neighbors suffer. The taxing authorities suffer because they're not getting the municipalities because they're not getting their tax money generally, or a lot of times. Contractors are suffering because they're not out there doing the work on those houses. I mean, there's just a lot of wins that happen in this column when we go out and change the dynamic of these old, neglected houses. And they're not always old. They're just neglected. And so
that's true. I mean, I've picked up nice double wide mobile homes on an acre of land built in either the late 90s, early 2000s, 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, 2 or 3 bath, vaulted ceiling, plant shelf, garden tub, deck off the back, and I've picked them up for, $8,800, $9,100, $12,000, $15,000. And they're in small towns where people were born and raised. They have ties to the community. They have relatives there, so they have a support system in place. And that's the best kind of buyer to have. They're not going anywhere. They're not transient. They were born and raised there. They know everybody. Everybody knows them. And here's the best part. As you know, if they run into a problem and become late on their payments, they have friends, relatives, and people that can help them out to help them keep their house.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you probably find a lot of your stuff in rural America, right? Just outside the city limits where
small town USA.
Yep. I love that. We're doing a lot of that here in Texas too. And I think those little communities are sometimes tighter and more charitable than certainly some of these big cities, because it's just a mess up there.
That's
okay.
Right.
So you go to reinvestorsummit.com/riches, all lowercase, RICHES. Man, is there anything else we need to know before we call it a day on this subject?
Well, I think the most important thing is to get people over there to watch the webinar, because we've only really scratched the surface. I mean, a lot of people are scared about, well, what happens, if they stop paying? Actually, quite frankly, that's the second best thing that can happen is they stop paying. And on the webinar, I'm going to tell you the best thing that can happen, and we're just going to go through. I'm going to show you sample deals and everything that we've done, real life deals. You're going to get the analyzer. We're going to show you how it works, show you how to market the property and how to have it sold before you even buy the property. So yeah, you guys need to go to that website that Mitch mentioned and sign up for the webinar. And it's a special link, a special webinar we're doing for you guys. So we're going to show you case studies and everything.
That's what I think. We could talk about it, but you did such a good job in the webinar, succinctly talking about it one step at a time and talking about and showing the examples. I think the case studies are so important. I love case studies. So you guys get over to reinvestorsummit.com/riches. And I think that's about it for now. I want to compliment all of y'all for taking the time to get you some Larry Goins today. And maybe you'll learn how to raise some money sitting in your underwear at your house on your computer, just like Larry. There's a sight to behold. Let's just erase that. I ever said that. Larry sitting in his underwear at his computer, getting filthy rich. All right.
There you go.
This is Mitch with the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. We're out of here.
You've been listening to the Owner Financing Master, Mitch Be the Bank Stephen, on the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. Let us now blatantly, without apology, bribe you towards financial freedom by offering you a whole bunch of free stuff. Go to reinvestorsummit.com and get you some. And y'all come back now, you hear?